What's up, studio? What's up, friends? We have one bell, 20 minutes together, and some push-pull movements to do with that big old bell. So I want you to make sure that this bell feels heavy today for you. You also, oh my God, also have the option to bring a small hand towel to tie around your bell. Yes, tie around your bell for one of the moves today, and use that as an option to make it a little harder. So you'll see how that works out when we get there. We're gonna do a quick warm up together that's gonna work our back a bit and our booty, glutes. We got some hamstrings, so you should just come down to the floor with me. I do know that today there will be no puppy interaction, so apologize for that. We had a decent amount in this program already so far. We'll try to keep that going, but today, none. We're gonna start with 10 single leg hip bridges without puppy kisses, pushing our arms into the floor, making sure we're dragging our heel towards our booty as we lift and not overly arching our back. So let's do it together. Bring your left leg up or whatever leg is not down and make sure that knee is stacked over your hip. Let's lift our hips in 3, 2, and 1. So we'll hit 1 rep. We'll go for 2, push down. Lift for 3, good, 4, 5, I'm such a typical fitness instructor today. 6, I'm like, go team. 7, yes, lift that booty. 8, we have 9 and 10. No stereotyping here, but that's kind of how I imagine like a mat Pilates class goes if you're watching it online. Let's go for 10 reps the other side. 3, 2, and 1. So we're gonna lift and lower. Make sure again, you keep pushing the ground down here. We're doing 10 reps together. So this is 4. We'll lift for 5. Keep your foot nice and flexed on that up leg. 6, we'll call that 6. 7, I might have given you an extra 8. We'll take 9 and 10. I'd probably be a terrible typical fitness instructor as we're learning in this set. Okay, go ahead, roll yourself over onto your chest. This one's gonna be a little precarious for me because I do not wanna crush the mic when I do this. So I'm not gonna go all the way down. I want you to. You're going to land here in silence. And then end here with your fingers reaching and your toes reaching, not your lower back reaching. So I want you to think of squeeze your butt, push your hip bones into the floor. That's all you got to remember. And then a reach, reach, reach. So let's go ahead for 10 together. Come all the way flat. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Lift 1, come down. Lift 2, come down. Remember, I'm not going all the way down. 3, come down. We're thinking of grow long for 4. Squeeze the booty. 5. Long for 6, good guys, 7, 8, make sure you're breathing, 9, last one for 10. If you felt that in your lower back, you might not be given enough booty squeeze and hip push into the floor. You also do not need to lift as high. That could be what could be going on there. Now we're gonna practice some kettlebell swing start drag. So no matter where you're at with kettlebell swings, this drill is gonna help you warm up your back, your core, and your hips. So good for us. We're gonna step behind your bell like this, make a triangle with your feet, push your hips back, turn your bell on its side and slightly pull it back towards you, scoot your booty back so you feel your hamstrings, and then you're gonna pull it with your upper body behind you. You're then just gonna switch your position and do it again. We're gonna do 10 of those together. So let's go ahead, step into position with your bell. We're gonna start those swing start drags as they are called in 3, 2, and 1. So I pull, I'm gonna switch my side, that's 1. Here I am for 2, pulling it back. We're working on a strong connection to our lats and our back and our core when we're starting our swings. Let's call that 4. Next one is 5. Let's go ahead, go again, 6. You could even do it like this. 7, that makes you less dizzy. Let's go ahead, go again for 8. If you feel this in your low back, I want you to give me a little pelvic tuck before you come down. 9. Last one, you might be like, thank God this is almost over because it's awkward. Find that core, sink your hips back, and move that bell just under you or slightly behind you. Okay, that's it for our little warm up. We're gonna go into our next set where you will need that swing weight kettlebell. It should be something you can at least swing for 10 reps. So make some edits right now before we get into the explanation of our set and start going. And if you have that small hand towel, this is the time to bring it out. Okay, my bell is out. My towel has magically appeared in that little break time, and I'm gonna use that for some 2-hand hinge rows. This is the one that I wanna show you guys because we have kettlebell swings first. If you're this deep, swing should not be the thing that you're learning today, and you've probably done that before, so we're gonna take 10. If you don't kettlebell swing or you don't feel comfortable doing it, I want you to take 5 goblet cleans as your modification. And if you don't know how to goblet clean, I want you to rewind and go back to the beginner program and learn how to do that stuff before you land here. So for the hinged rows, adding an apparatus to just make a longer lever for you will make this one a little bit harder. So you would put it around the bell like this, hold on to the edges here, and then hinge, and then you just have more length to pull it. If you don't have a towel, you can hold it by the handle, and then that length is a little shorter. It's just to your belly button with your elbows out slightly wide. It's a little easier to do it that way. So pick the way that works best for you or what you want to get out of it today. Of course, you're going to be limited to having a towel, but if you're in a gym, hopefully you've got some towel access today. You can also do pull-ups or chin-ups in this interval to like an RPE 8 if you have that practice and access to a bar. After that, we're just gonna take a 20-second iso hold in a single leg deadlift position. So we're gonna try our best to be here, holding for 20 seconds without this knee creeping forward. We're gonna do each side for that 20, and then we'll do this whole thing through again. We're going for 5 rounds today, so a solid 15 minutes through this every 60-second interval. Kettlebell swings, 10 reps, like I said, that is a baseline, and you can take a little bit less if you need to. We're gonna start here in 10 seconds, and I want some strong swings. It should take you about 20 seconds. I'll walk you through it. I'll go a little slower than you hopefully are. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna step behind my bell, make a little triangle with it. Hips will go back with my core nice and tight. I flip the bell to the side, pull it back with feeling my lats a lot, sending my booty back, my hamstrings feel it, and then I launch, lifting my hips with the bell. I will take those 10 strong swings, trying to thrust the bell with my hips, letting it be light in my hands and just drop naturally to the floor. This right here is just about 30 seconds into the interval, so this will give you an idea of where you're at and how much rest you're going to get before you go into those 2 hand hinge rows. I want 10 reps for those hinge rows, and again, once you hit your hinge here, you can pull your elbows slightly out to the side. They don't have to go straight back. Play with what's more comfortable for you. One might be more than the other in that situation. So you have a full minute to complete these. The slower you go, the more controlled you go, the harder it will get, especially if you use that towel. So if you're setting yourself up with the towel, go ahead, bring it inside your kettlebell. You're gonna stand up with your bell first and then start your hinge. So we're gonna come down in our hinge position, making sure that the core is nice and tight, the low back is not round, and then we pull up. So I'd be here 1, 2, 3, it can touch the ground. 4, good, 5, 6, keep the chin tucked. 7, 8, 9, 10, I definitely feel my back muscles moving and crunching a little bit on that one. So right here is about 30 seconds. We have your iso holds next, and then we hit that stuff 4 more times in this 20-minute set. I'm gonna give you a little trick for these iso holds if balance is not working out so well for you, at least in this first set. We're gonna start with our right foot, and I want you in this next 15 seconds before we go into this set to push that right foot down and push the sole of your foot into the floor. Try to widen out your toes if you don't have shoes on, and if you do have shoes on, try to do that in your shoes. We're gonna put our hands in our hips, make sure our rib cage is over our pelvis, and then start hinging in 3, 2, and 1. So I want your hips to go back with your toes on the floor till the very last minute. Then I want you to turn them in and lift that foot. You're gonna hold here, and if you can't hold there, I want you just to bring your toe to the ground like this and work on pushing down your front foot, keeping your knee pulling back here. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Stand up. Let's take your other side. So that's where you're gonna go if this position of lifting that back foot does not work for you, if you end up here. You can also hold on to a wall to help you move back and to find this. Try to flex your foot really hard on that back leg and reach through your heel. Try to send your hips back more. You're here for 3, 2, and stand it up. Very good, guys. 15 seconds. We're gonna go into our kettlebell swings, round 2. Just keep that towel nice and close to you. You have more than enough time in this interval to set yourself up for success. So no shitty starts here. Let's go ahead, bring your feet behind your bell, make that triangle no matter how advanced you are. Let's hit 10 big swings in 3, 2, and 1. My hips go back. I pull that bell back. Very good. Set the bell down, take a little break, roll your shoulders back, take some breaths, try to stay loose, try to stay moving through this set. I'm gonna go for my rows this time without the towel, so you have an example of what that looks like. Elbows are traveling out, bell handle is traveling to my belly button. You don't wanna pull it up to your chest and get this too much in your upper neck and traps. We wanna think of pulling out and see if we can feel this in the middle part of our backs. Again, your body is your weight machine today, so your core has to stay nice and engaged this whole time. Let's go ahead, pick your bell up in 3, 2, and 1. So I still want you to stand like this, even if you're holding the handle. You can even move down a little bit with your bod to make a little more length, as long as your low back doesn't round. Very good. Sometimes we're limited a little bit with bells on pull movements. That's why I like, if you have a home gym, to have the option of having a pull-up bar, having some bands, so you can get some vertical pulling in along with these horizontal pulling options, because it's a lot easier to set ourselves up for these horizontal pulls. We've got your deadlift coming up, so take some time to get yourself set up. It's a quick shift to the other leg. I'm only giving you like 5 or so seconds to get into position with your opposite foot. So take advantage of that and use your time wisely. Let's go ahead, start our hinge in 3, 2, and 1. So here, notice how this feels very similar to our other movements. So you can hold your arms and really reach, kind of like your Superman hold in the beginning of class today. And then see if you can just gently pull that knee back. It makes a big difference, right? If you're here versus if you're here. So that's squatty versus hingey. We're in the hingey today. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead, get your other foot set up and go right into it. Drag that toe on the floor for the last minute if you need to. Find your spot and then pull that knee back. Try to keep turning your toes in so your opposite hip drops a little bit and stays in line with the down leg side. It's normal for your foot to be a little wobbly here. Just go with it. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Pay attention to that bottom foot a lot when we're in that isometric hold. Okay, kettlebell swings, round 3. This is the set where, I've been saying this a lot in these classes, where we climb the mountain. This is your last time before we start going downhill to the finish. Clock is on here. 3, 2, and 1. Every swing is its own little snowflake. Every swing is unique. Every swing you're giving it its all. Every swing is important. So when you see that rep count of 10, I want you to really try to imagine those each one as individual. You can have kind of a weird one. Try to recover. Try to make them more powerful as you go. See if you can keep attacking that power as you move through the interval and not letting yourself get loose. Maybe as you get a little bit tired, that could be your challenge. If you're feeling pretty good with your swing form, that's your next level here. Okay, let's get these rows. Clock is on 3, 2, and 1. Chin ups and pull-ups. I acknowledge you guys out there. This stuff is hard. All that movement in our upper backs is so good for us. All the hinging today, pretty much everything you're doing, you're in a hinge position. So let's really emphasize that that means hips back. We got to go back, not down. We got to keep moving the booty behind us. Keep the shoulders over the hips in these movements, never at a full tabletop, even in this single leg deadlift, which we're going to finish up for this round 3. So start getting ready in your spot. You really can do whatever you want with your hands, but I think that long length here helps you to remember and to facilitate making length with your body. Let's go ahead, start it out. 3, 2, and 1. So again, this might be where you stay and you practice pulling that knee back and making that front foot a little heavier, making your back toes kind of light, turning them in and pushing through the big toe bed of the sole of your foot. Try not to let this hip shoot out to the side. We want it to be pulling back. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. Let's take your other side. So again, here is that modification. I would be in this position, finding my spot, pushing the center part of my foot down, turning this back, and then getting my knee back here, making sure I find that length. This might be plenty hard for you, especially if you're barefoot. You're in here for 3, 2, and 1. We have 2 more rounds of this. 6 minutes left of your class. I want some big kettlebell swings, and if for some reason they're getting to be kind of too big for you, you can take them 5 and 5. You have enough time to set your bell down after 5 and do 5 more reps. Break up those 10 if you need to, if your form is going downhill, if your power is going down. You've got 3, 2, and 1. My hips go back. I sit it back. So this would be where I could set it down here, start over again, and hit those final 5 reps. Shake it out once you finish. You still have 30 seconds before we go into our set of rows. I'm liking these rows today. I think, too, that if this is uncomfortable for you in this position, you could also switch to alternating your row with a lighter bell if you have access. That's always an option. Remember we talked about in a previous class in this series that once you kind of learn the baseline for something, it allows you to make your own modifications a lot easier. So let's go ahead and go into our rows in 3, 2, and 1. And what I mean by that is, let's take the swing, for example. So where we start for the swing is our deadlift. So if I wanted to start at the very baseline of that deadlift position for the swing, I could give a beginner just practicing all the way from a bodyweight hinge deadlift to a kettlebell goblet deadlift. Then once I start adding the ballistics to it, I start practicing this movement, so the clean. So that's where the goblet clean might be a step down from the swing until we feel really comfortable with that. Then once I learn the swing, I have that baseline to start learning double swings, to start learning other explosive movements, maybe like snatches. So that's how we start to work backwards to do modifications. So you can start kind of thinking about those things for yourself if you ever need them in a class like this or anywhere else that you take a fitness class or do something fitness related. Okay, let's go ahead and get your single leg deadlift in 3, 2, and 1. You might be wondering, like, this seems kind of beginner. Why are we doing this lift here? Well, the thing is, we need to add some of these isometric holds into our lives, is what these are called, for the health of our joints and our ligaments. It's really good for your body to hold these positions, 3, 2, and 1, especially good for your ankle. So this is my chance to get some of the unsexy stuff. Go ahead, hit your other side, sprinkled into a program. So this you might find plenty hard. You also might be like, this doesn't seem like an advanced move. This is BS. I don't want to do it. Advanced people do this kind of stuff. Go with it. Treat it like it is something that is really challenging and try to make it the best you can. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Okay, 3 minutes left, guys. That is it for this class. I have to say I'm sweating. My hair is frizzing a little bit. I hope you're right there with me. Your final 10 swings are on deck here. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You always know it's a good sweaty one when the ponytail starts to get curly back there. Whew! Okay, bell comes down, shake it out. That is the last ballistic fast thing that you're gonna do today. Just those rows, just those iso holds. And you are out of here for this 15-minute working set after our warm-up. 20-minute classes fly by, but they also feel sometimes like a complete workout. Like the warm-up when we were doing the arm bars, and not arm bars, sorry, I lied. What am I talking about? That was last class. The hip bridges, seems like it was forever ago. So take that for what you will. Maybe it doesn't for you, but for me, I'm like, God, that was like a different day, a different time, a different era, for lack of a better term. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Pick up that bell, hinge those hips. Let's pull it. Try to keep your wrist nice and tight so they're not flopping around. Grab onto that handle or that towel really tightly here. Finish out your set, and Get rid of that thing, maybe wipe the sweat off your brow because you don't have a weighted set anymore, just body weight and your own mind to contend with here. Whew, okay. I think sometimes it's really true. A lot of this stuff is just so mental. By the time we get to the end, it's easy to speaking of that, if you're gonna turn the video off here and skip these, don't do it. It's easy to quit. It's easy to not finish. I want you to try to stick with this one and make these single leg deads the best thing you've ever done. Let's get after it. I'm gonna give you a little warning, 5 seconds here. We'll go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hinging at my hips. Finding that spot, maybe lifting that leg a little higher this time, maybe pulling my knee back a little more this time, maybe flexing my foot a little more and pushing down a little more, maybe pulling my chin back into my neck a little and relaxing my eyebrows here, maybe reaching with my heel and pushing down the center part of my foot for 3, 2, push to stand up. Whew, that was a little burn there. Let's go ahead, get your other side. Last 20 seconds of your session today. Hinge those hips, let the heel come back. We're gonna lift up, grow long, send the hip down. My left is so much tighter. I feel like lifting that leg and keeping this knee pulling back is so much more of a struggle. If you're right there with me, we got this together for 5, 4, 3, 2, and ooh, that burn. That's what this class was supposed to be about. You guys did it, you finished. Yet another 20-minute session, and I'm really proud of you guys. You've made it this far. We're already, if you're following the program, in week 2, which is great. That means once we finish this week, you just got 2 more. That's it, and you've done the full reset. These 20-minute classes in the program format are meant to push a reset button to help you make a habit. So they're not super overwhelming. It's not like I'm saying go do 60 to 90 minutes in the gym 3 or 4 days a week, get sore, do this. This just gets you in a habit. Creating a habit is really important with your training because that's really all that matters. If you can do it consistently, you're going to show results. You're going to show up for yourself, feel better, look better, and just exist in a better environment within yourself, for lack of, I guess, a better description. That's a little cheesy. I went back to my Pilates yoga. I love you Pilates and yoga instructors, by the way. Anywho, that's it. Remember, get real, get strong, bells up. I will see you guys in our next session together. Bye.